they're tremendous storytellers musically. And whether that's through vocals, through harmonies, through the key changes, they're very, very dialed into the musicality of the story and how they want to tell that and how they make us feel emotional about the music when we hear it.
Great day to play. Great day to play.
It's a great day to play, everybody. Welcome on into the channel. Yeah. Whether it's your first time here or you are rejoining us, thank you for being here with us today. You're loved, appreciated, always welcome here in this channel, and you are enough. Today, we are going to be back with a little bit more of the Juans. This is on the Wish Bus with Hindi Tayo Pwede, and I'm super, super excited to be getting into more of them. Don't forget, if you haven't already, by the time that this video comes out, you should also have their brand new single out as well back home, so you can check that out. That was absolutely beautiful and should be available on all streaming sources now, so check that out there. Also, if you haven't already, for our channel, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow along with our journey, check out our live stream Saturdays, noon Central Time. Then you can check out our brand new single, My Light, that's out now on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and all the other places the music exists. But without further ado, let's go.
Pilit nating iniwasan ganitong mga tanungan.
Wish 1075.
At kahit di sigurado, tinuloy natin ang ating ugnayan. Ngayon'y naubos na ang kwentuhan, nagsimula ng magsisihan. Lahat ay parang lumabo, di alam kung saan tutungo. Sabi ko na nga ba, dapat nung una pa lamang, di na umasa, di naniwala. Hindi tayo pwede pinagtagpo, pero di tinadhana. Hindi na posible ang mga puso'y huwag nating pahirapan. Suko na sa laban. Hindi.
Dude, man, there's something so smooth about them. Like, it's so soothing. And this is, you know, when we listened back home, I feel like it was something that we kind of discovered too. And we've heard a couple of things by them now, but we're really starting to branch out and hear more and more stuff by them. They do the very, very, I don't want to say traditional because it doesn't work for a lot of people, but when they create music that not only tells a story, but it has the long form build. And there's a reason that a lot of people are going away from that now, is because attention spans are shorter and shorter, and that's really unfortunate. But you know, you don't get a lot of 4 or 5 minute songs anymore. Sometimes you don't even get 2-minute songs anymore. A lot of times on pop radio, because people's attention spans are so short. So in those shorter songs, you don't get the chance to really build vocally, build instrumentally, really take those pieces and kind of give the listener this emotional journey. And that's what they do. And it's so stunning. And I also want to point out real quick, we've seen a lot of different versions on the Wish Bus of them trying to fit people in here, but this is nuts. Like, his guitar is like just barely fitting in here and has to be like this setup is nuts to fit in this small little space, man. Good on them. Good on them. All right, I'm going to go back to this build a little bit. How gorgeous, man.
Ang mga puso'y huwag nating pahirapan. Suko na sa laban, hindi tayo pwede. Hindi tayo pwede. Kay bigat na ng damdamin, bakit di pa natin aminin? Dahil sa una pa lamang, alam nating wala tayong laban. Sabi ko na nga ba, dapat nung una pa lamang, di na umasa, di naniwala.
God dang. So many cool things happening here. First off, the sound of this is just incredible. I love their voices. I love how they sound together. I love how smooth and kind of like sultry they are. But can we let's talk about bands for a second here. Let's talk about traditional pop music and bands and the amount of extra work that a lot of these guys do. Again, if you've never played an instrument, if you've never done that, it's hard to sometimes comprehend what has to go into that to be able to play to the level that a lot of these guys plays. But then to add in instrumentation and singing at the same time, you know, it's like you're trying to do and think about two things simultaneously. And it's kind of like the whole thing, remember, like where it was like pat your head and like rub your stomach while you're patting your head and stuff like that. Like thinking about doing two things at the same time can just, it can be a lot. And when you play instruments and stuff from a younger child, it is a little bit easier to learn that. But then for pianists especially, when you have left hand doing one thing and right hand doing something else, oftentimes in different, you know, it might be completely different beat markers, right? It's you have three things now. You have left hand, right hand, and singing. So it's just, I want to show some appreciation here for these guys and, you know, bring in their own instruments. But what a lot of people probably aren't catching is they're changing the settings on a lot of the instruments at the same time. So, you know, when we're looking at the keyboard here, he's like programming in, you know, different synths, stuff like that as he's going. If you see him doing something where he's reaching up there, he's programming in different sounds or possibly different volumes to do different things in the song to make the song sound different. Even the guitarist, if you're not familiar with a guitar, you know, there's settings on the side of the guitar where he's actually changing some of those things to give it a different sound from the verses versus the chorus and stuff like that. So all these guys are doing so much here. We have the guy in the back who is like, I always feel bad for these drummers that they have on here because he's like a T-Rex right now, like trying to play. I just wanted to take that and just kind of, you know, as you guys are watching this, you know, there is a special appreciation that should go into what has to go into all this music, because it's not as simple as, you know, recording a song pre and playing a backing track when you're doing all of this, and everything has to be right and everything has to be perfect when you do these lives. It's just something that I greatly, greatly appreciate when I see things like this. Go back just a little bit here. before this, but like this is again, this is just like I think about bands that have stood the test of time that do this. We talk about Coldplay a lot, whether you love them or you hate them. Coldplay has a knack for doing songs that build emotionally, instrumentally, vocally, of understanding the pace. A song is no different than a story, right? If you were to go and read a story, let's say that you were go and read, I don't know, any fiction novel that's your favorite fiction novel. If you were going to go read a story and, all of a sudden in the first chapter, they drop all the big stuff on you, and then it's just like the rest of the 18 chapters are stuff that's not interesting, that doesn't work, right? And again, what a lot of newer pop music does, especially here in the US, because the songs aren't very long, is that's what they do. It's like the goal is to bring you in within the first like 10 to 15 seconds and then keep you there the entire time. So they just make songs shorter. So they basically like give you a short story. They hit you with everything right away. They bring some things back a little bit, but then they just make it shorter so like you don't get bored after getting all the big stuff. Where a real short story, the way that it works is it keeps the listener, the reader, engaged by giving small little tidbits, by building with character development, right? Really getting us attached to the characters before, we have this big ramp up and a climax that happens in the book, so that when that happens, we have this emotional attachment to it. And longer songs have the ability to do that type of storytelling. And with the Juans, I feel like they do that really, really well. They introduce musical lines that are almost like the character development. So we start getting in love and attached to this really, really peaceful melody. And as we go, those melodies start building on each other. We see more of the character development aspect. They start building on each other. They bring in different instrumentation. So they're not necessarily introducing anything new, as opposed to building, and as the character grows, as that melodic line grows, we get to see it grow musically instead of see it grow as an individual. And then they have these big, big pieces in here where then we start seeing in these choruses and stuff like that. And then it brings us back, and these bridges, and they pull it back a little bit. They allow for a little relaxation before you were going to get this big, big, kind of climax again in the song. And again, it's not necessarily what is popular today on pop radio, but it is something that very, very few groups can still do very, very well. And I feel like the Juans does it extraordinarily well in their storytelling in their songs. And just so, so, so beautiful.
Pinagtagpo, pero di tadhana, hindi na posible. Ang mga puso'y wag nating pahirapan. Sumuko na sa laban, hindi tayo pwede. Hindi tayo pwede.
Wish Exclusive on Wish 1075.
Man. Dude, they're so good. Again, I think the best way to describe them is storytelling. And it's not that they don't still have this great integration of pop to make the songs popular, but they're tremendous storytellers musically. And whether that's through vocals, through harmonies, through the key changes, they're very, very dialed into the musicality of the story and how they want to tell that, and how they make us feel emotional about the music when we hear it. And it's just, I don't know, it's something we don't get as much here anymore in the West, and it's unfortunate. I think that it was interesting because there's been a lot of talk recently, especially with like the start of AI and like AI starting to make music and stuff like that, and whether producers are even going to be relevant anymore. But as much as they can try to emulate, as of right now, AI can't feel emotion, right? It emulates emotions, and then in that case, the AI is just a sociopath, right? It's like it's almost there but never quite. And I think that that's what's going to set stuff out. Like AI might be able to reproduce pop hits. And that's the unfortunate part because pop hits don't necessarily make us feel emotion. They're there and they're short and they're there to make us just, but I get afraid, especially as the big record labels start taking over more and more things, and now it's like if you want to get a song on, even with a record label, it has to get so many likes on, on Twitter or on TikTok or whatever it is before they'll let you release it, and so everybody's just looking for the same music, and then music starts sounding very similar. Pop music here is all very, very similar, and it becomes unfortunate because as we do that, as we start having things like that happen, as we start relying on more things like AI, we lose the emotional impact that we have from musicians like the Juans. And one of the things that I think I've appreciated about OPM and Filipino music in general is it seems like there's still very much a love and a want for that in the Philippines. And I hope that that transcends back to the West, because I feel like it's something that's lacking. My only fear is now is the people that are in place and in charge of, either labels or making music, producing music, mixing music, like that they're so used to now, or they've been trained in styles that are not for this, that like even if it can start making a resurgence here, like are they going to be able to do it properly? Because they've been doing it. I don't know if improper is the right word, but they haven't been doing it this way in a very, very long time. They're not catering to this type of listener anymore, and it's unfortunate for music. It's unfortunate for true lovers of music. I think we're seeing kind of a loss that's happening, and I hope that ends up turning around. But anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Please, if you haven't already, leave your comments down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow along with our journey. Check out our live stream Saturdays, noon Central Time. And you guys need to seek a code for today. So let's make it, I think there's like a piano, like keyboard one there. Let's do piano, keyboard, and mic. We'll just keep it simple with this one. And if nobody told you that they love you today, please don't forget that I love you. You're appreciated, always welcome here in this channel, and you are enough. And last but certainly not least, it was a great day to play. Thanks, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Now coming back.